Alrighty, we are gonna do a front diff fluid change on a Polaris Sportsman 570. This process is gonna be the same thing for every Polaris Sportsman out there. So just follow along. If you do have a 570, a 450, ETX, anything like that, and it has a winch on it, this is going to be a really good video for you guys to watch. So to start with, you are going to have to remove the front fascia cover, and then you're going to have to take the 4 bolts out of the winch and pull it forward in order to get to the fill plug on the side of the front diff. So first thing is first, let's go ahead and remove the 4 torque screws that's on this front fascia, and then we'll pull this off. So 1 second and I'll get this plate right off from there. All right, now that the front fascia plate is off, and yes, that is 4 torque screws that's in there, and the size that you are gonna need is gonna be a T27. All right, so next step, on each side of the winch, you do have 13mm bolts in there, so 2 on this side, and then if you wrap around to the other side where the motor side is on the winch, you have 2 more, so 1 right at the lower side and 1 at the upper side. So 1 sec, I'll get them loosened up, get the winch pulled out, and I'll show you the next step. All right, so the 4 bolts are out. So from here, the only thing that you have to do, just make sure that you have enough slack in your cable. Sometimes there is a zip tie around right here, which I'll put one in. Whoever installed the winch didn't do that, but I'll do that just to keep these away from there. But so sometimes you have to cut that zip tie. If the person that installed it did it properly, there would have been a zip tie around there to hold them back. But however, so we'll go ahead and just kind of pull this winch forward. All right, so now you can see the fill plug right there after you get the winch kind of rocked up and out of the way. So just kind of want it to rest there. Don't, put a lot of tension or anything. You can see I can still move these cables. I just kind of got it, where it's moved out of the way, but it's holding against the frame, so it's not pulling against the cables. So next step that you're going to need to do after removing the winch off from the front side, down underneath you can see the drain bolt, and that is a 8mm Allen. That is going to have a magnet on the bottom side of it, so make sure that once you pull that out that you clean that magnet up really good. So give me 1 sec, let me pull that out, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so now it's pulled. So right here, you can see how much shavings that this magnet holds on it. So this is normal. That's why I recommend, guys, at that first break-in at 25 hours to go ahead and just change all the fluids on your ATV, because you are going to get a pile of shavings. So it's out of the way a little bit and kind of try to show you as I wipe this thing off. Look at that. So 25 hours, do a complete service, because the rear diff is the exact same thing. The diff and transmission's in one assembly. I'm not going to show you in this video how to change the diff fluid, rear trans / diff fluid, but it is the exact same type of plug, 8mm. The engine oil is a 6, but so right there's a little magnet, and then there is an O-ring, so just make sure that you inspect that O-ring really good, and just make sure it's nice and clean, putting her back in. So all right, so now that that is draining, now the next step is coming over to this side, pulling the fill plug on it, getting a funnel, I like to use a bend funnel and fill it. When you fill it up, it is going to be level with the bottom of the threads. You don't want it coming, spooling back out. So be very careful. This thing holds ounces in the front diff, does not hold very much. All of these front differentials, they hold what Polaris calls demand dry fluid. They make an angle dry fluid, which is for hubs and some diffs and some of their Rangers and Razors that ran a separate rear end and transmission and stuff like that. But on all of the Sportsman's, front diff fluid is demand drive. Okay, it's a helical gear oil that basically it needs. So if you just put a 1040 in it, like some of the Kawasaki's recommend, or an 8090 or anything like that, that helical gear will end up slipping. It'll build way too much friction. Your four-wheel drive won't work right, and more than likely you're going to take out the ring and pinion or something inside this front diff. It's not going to be good. So give me a sec. I'll get that pulled. We'll get the drain plug reinstalled, and I'll show you how I go about filling it and the level that I put that at. Alright guys, so since I got that pulled, boom, I'll kind of show you. So the top side doesn't have a magnet, so if you do pull both of them, you'll know that the drain plug is the magnet one and the fill plug, there's no magnet. It is the same thread, same size, 8mm Allen, all that good stuff. This is what the Polaris demand dry fluid looks like. So if you buy one quart, it's usually about 15 bucks a quart. You'll get anywhere from 3 to 4 changes. Just depends on how careful you are on changing that front diff fluid and how much spillage you get. And then I just like to use a bend funnel that's extendable, so I just kind of got some flexibility on filling it. So I'll go ahead and get it filled. I'll show you where the level should be at, and then we'll go ahead and reinstall everything. Alright guys, so she is filled all the way up. Let me see if I can kind of get in here to show you. Alright, so if you kind of look right at the lower side of the gear, when I shake the unit, you can kind of see the fluid moving. It is right at the bottom of the threads. That is